Questions 1 through 10 on the 2007 Grade 10 AMC 10B. Isabella's house has 3 bedrooms. Each bedroom is 12 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 8 feet high. Isabella must paint the walls of all her bedrooms. Doorways and windows which will not be painted occupy 60 square feet in each bedroom. How many square feet of walls must be painted? So here is the room, and it's 8 feet high, and it's 12 feet across and 10 feet wide, like that. So her room, one of them, if you just look at the walls, it's 8 times 12, and there's 2 of those, and the other wall is going to be 8 times 10, and there's 2 of those. But there's 3 bedrooms, so we have to multiply this whole thing by 3. But don't forget to subtract the fact that there's 60 square feet in each bedroom that does not need to be painted, so 3 times 60. And this is going to give us our answer. This is going to be 3 times 192 plus 160 minus 180. And this is 3 times 352 minus 180. And that is 1056 minus 180 for a final answer of 876. So number 1, the answer is E. Define the operation star by A star B is equal to A plus B, all multiplied by B. What is this expression equal to? So we've got 3 star 5 minus 3, or 5 star 3. All right. So here we go. Please do not select 0 and move on. It doesn't work that way. So let's look at that definition and use our numbers 3 and 5. So it's 3 plus 5 times 5. And then this one is 5 plus 3 times 3. So that's 8 times 5, and this is 8 times 3. So that's 40 minus 24, and that's 16. So number 2, the answer is E. A college student drove his compact car 120 miles home for the weekend and averaged 30 miles per gallon. On the return trip, the student drove his parents' SUV and averaged only 20 miles per gallon. What was the average gas mileage in miles per gallon for the round trip? So in his compact car, he is driving 120 miles, and it has a mileage of 30 miles per gallon. So how many gallons does he use? Well, 30 miles per gallon, 120 miles, so it's 4 gallons that he had to use. Correct? Every 30 miles he uses a gallon. And then in the SUV, he drives the same distance, right? And this time his miles per gallon is 20. So how many gallons does he use? 6 gallons this time. And therefore, if we have to figure out the total average, we have to first figure out how much total distance did he drive. Well, he drove 120 and then another 120, so 240 miles. And then we have to divide by the total number of gallons. 4 gallons using the compact car and 6 gallons using the SUV, so that's a total of 10 gallons. And therefore that is 24 miles per gallon. That is the average gas mileage in miles per gallon for the round trip. So number 3, the answer is B. The point O is the center of the circle circumscribed about ABC with BOC equal to 20 and AOB equal to 140. As shown, what is the degree measure of angle ABC? Let's make this a little bit larger. I think that's sufficient. So this is a circle and O is the center. So these are all radii, any line going from the center to the edge of the circle. So therefore, these are isosceles triangles. This one here, and of course, this one here, BOC. So that means that these two angles are the same, this angle and that angle. So 140 is this angle, so therefore we've got 140 plus x is equal to 180, since the sum of the angles of a triangle equal 180. So that gives me 2x is equal to 40, x is 20. And then in a very similar way, I'll do the same thing for the other triangle. So this, I'll call it y, and therefore that is also y, since that's an isosceles triangle. So we've got y plus 120 this time is equal to 180, and therefore 2y is equal to 60, and y is 30. So they want you to figure out angle ABC. So ABC is this angle from here to there. From there to there, angle ABC is x plus y. X is 20, y is 30. So angle ABC is equal to 50. So number 4, the answer is D. In a certain land, all arogs are brafs and krups are barafs. All dramps are arogs, and all krups are dramps. Which of the following statements is implied by these facts? So, I'll try to explain this. First and foremost, let's look at the very first one. All arogs are brafs. So if you have a big long circle like this, and you have brafs, the large circle represents all the brafs in this certain land. All arogs are brafs. So arogs are going to be a component of that. So it'll be like that. Okay? As you can clearly see from this diagram, all arogs are indeed brafs. The opposite is not true. But that statement, all arogs are brafs, are represented by this diagram. Let's move forward. Now we've got krups and brafs. Now that one, that's two separate entities, so I'm going to draw that over here. So I've got brafs, and then I've got these krups. So here we go, like that. Hopefully we'll combine this later on. That takes care of that. All dramps are arogs. Okay, great. I've got arogs already here, so I'll draw another circle inside there to represent the dramps. And there you go, D for dramps. All right, that's taken care of. And all krups are dramps. Okay, great. I've already got dramps, so I'll draw another circle in there to represent the krups. And I think that takes care of all my letters, right? A, B, C, D. Yeah. And then this one is incorporated here. C and D are in there. All right. So now let's talk about this. C is a part of all of them. So all krups are dramps, all krups are arogs, all krups are brafs. Got it? So without going through every single answer choice and boring you to death here, the one that fits this diagram is right here. So that diagram encompasses that. All krups are dramps, all krups are arogs, and all krups are brafs. So number 5, the answer is D. The 2007 AMC 10 will be scored by awarding 6 points for each correct response, 0 points for each incorrect response, and 1.5 points for each problem left unanswered. After looking over 25 problems, Sarah decided to attempt the first 22 and leave only the last 3 unanswered. How many of the first 22 problems must she solve correctly in order to score at least 100 points? 6 points for a correct response, 0 for incorrect, and 1.5 for unanswered. Well, she's going to unanswer 3, and we have to figure out how many she has to get correct. So I'll let that be x. So 6 times x plus 3 times 1.5 has to be greater than or equal to 100. So that means 6x is greater than or equal to 100 minus 4.5, which is 95.5. And therefore x is greater than or equal to about 15.9. So that means she must get at least 16 questions correct in order for her to score 100 points with this scoring system. So number 6, the answer is D. All sides of the convex pentagon ABCD are of equal length. Angle A and B are 90. What is the degree measure of angle E? Convex pentagon, where all the sides are the same. Let's see if I can draw one. So I think this should be good enough. So all the sides are the same. All right, so this is the same. Draw the lines there. And they tell me that angles A and B are 90 degrees. So this is 90, this is 90, and then I guess this is C, this is D, and this is E. They want me to figure out the measure of that angle. So the best thing to do in this question is draw a line from E to C. Okay? And this diagram is not perfectly drawn to scale, I'm sorry, but and EC is therefore going to be the same length as AB. Correct? So that essentially is a square. All the angles are right triangles, or right angles. Now, notice EDC, this triangle, all the sides are the same, so it's equilateral. So therefore, those are all 60-degree angles. 60, 60, and 60. So they want you to figure out angle E, which is this angle. Well, angle E looks like 90, that 90-degree right angle, plus 60. And that is equal to 150. So number 7, the answer is E. On the trip home from the meeting where this AMC 10 was constructed, the contest chair noted that his airport parking receipt had digits of the form BBCAC, where 0 is less than or equal to A, less than B, less than C, and less than or equal to 9, where B was the average of A and C. How many different 5-digit numbers must satisfy all these properties? All right, so in this question, there's a very short way of doing it, and there's a little bit longer way. Obviously, I always recommend the short way, but I'd like to explain this question carefully. I don't want you to just, walk away without understanding it. Some of you, of course, already understand it and can do it, but for those of you who don't, here we go. A, B, and C are my 3 numbers, and this number is of the form B, B, C, A, C. And this condition is very important. 0 is less than or equal to A, and B is greater than A, C is greater than B, and C is less than or equal to 9. So we also are told that B is the average of A and C. So that means that 2B is equal to A plus C. So we will try casework, and here we go. Let's start with A equal to 0. That's the smallest possible value for A. If A is 0, B cannot be 0. B has to be greater than A. So the first one I go for is 1. If that is the case, using this and only this, I get C equal to 2. And then you keep going for 0 for A. Now let's try 2. You get 4. Keep going for 0 and we get 3. Right? I'm just going up by 1 each time. And this time I get 6. 0, let's go for 4. And that's 8. And then once I get to 0 and 5, C will be not a single digit. It will be 10. And obviously I can't have that. So that's it for A equals 0. A equals 1. Again, B cannot be 1. It has to be at least 2. I get 3. 1, 3, and 5. 1, 4, 7, 1, 5, 9. And then at this point, I will not be able to get a number less than or equal to 9 for C. And similarly, you just keep doing this, and you'll be able to get all the cases. It's a little tedious. It's a little bit longer than a very quick solution. But, for the sake of completeness, I just wanted to show this to you. So I'll fill all this out. So that's my full list. And then how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, 10, 15, and I got 20 of them. So, like I said, if you have a quicker way, by all means, do that quicker way. I just wanted to illustrate it in a complete fashion. So number 8, the answer is 20, so that would be choice D. A cryptographic code is designed as follows. The first time a letter appears in a given message, it is replaced by the letter that is one place to its right in the alphabet, assuming that the letter A is one place to the right of the letter Z. The second time the same letter appears in the given message, it is replaced by the letter that is 1 plus 2 places to the right. The third time it is replaced by the letter that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 places to the right, and so on. For example, with this code, the word banana becomes CBODQG. What letter will replace the last letter S in the message, Lee's sis is a Mississippi Miss Chris? So let's explain this question first. Let's write out our alphabet. And now let's talk about their example, which is banana becoming this. How did that happen? Let's explain that, and then we'll approach the question. Well, B, it's the first time the letter B appears in this word, so we replace it with a letter that is 1 to the right in the alphabet. 1 place to its right. So what is 1 to the right of B? Well, it's C. So that becomes a C. And then A, you replace it, again, same thing, with the letter that's 1 place to the right. Why? Because A is appearing for the first time. And that would be B. N is appearing for the first time, so we replace it with O, which is the letter that's 1 to the right. Now A is appearing now for the second time, so we have to replace it with a letter that is 1 plus 2 places to the right. So that's 3 places to the right from A, which would be 1, 2, 3. D is what we replace it with. N is appearing for the second time, so again 3 digits to the right of N. So that would be 1, 2, 3. Q is what you replace it with. Now A, this A is appearing for the third time, so we replace it with 1 plus 2 plus 3, or 6 digits to the right of A. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there you go. That is how they got the CBOD. Is that a D or a P? That's a D, right? Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. All right. There we go. That looks better. CBODQG is basically using this system. So I just wanted to illustrate that. Now they ask, the letter S in this message, what is it replaced by? First, we have to count how many times does that final S appear. Well, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So small here. I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12. So that final S, that last S, is appearing for the 12th time. So using this system that they explain in the question, it's going to be replaced by what? It's going to be replaced by 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way until 12. And the good news is that this isn't really that long, but there's the formula, right? You know that formula, n times n plus 1 over 2, where n is the last digit to add up consecutive numbers. And you can use that, and that will be 12 times 13 divided by 2. 6 times 13, which is 78. So we have to go to the alphabet, find our S, and then count 78 to the right. Now the good news is 78 is divisible by 26. Now you say, well, what do you mean by 26? Where did that number come from? Well, there's 26 letters in the alphabet. So that means since 78 divided by 26 is 3, you're really just going all the way through the alphabet 3 times. So you're going all the way till Z and then coming back around to S 3 times. And when you do that, you land right back at S. And that's it. So the hardest part about this question, I think, is understanding it. So number 9, the answer is S, which is choice D. 2 points B and C are in a plane. Let S be the set of all points in A in the plane for which ABC has an area of 1. Which of the following best describes S? All right, so we've got a graph, and they are saying that you've got 2 points, B and C. So I'll just draw them here, B and C. And there's a third point that's represented by A, but there's a bunch of them. So I'll initially just draw it here, and then we can figure out how it goes from there. Now this triangle has an area of 1 if you were to connect the dots and make a triangle. So there you go. This has an area of 1, and this can represent the height. So area of this triangle is 1/2 base times height, which is 1/2 times BC, and I'll just call that H for height. Now, you can do the exact same thing if A was on the other side, correct? So for example, if A was equidistant but on the other side, like here, it would be the same story. You could join A and B like that, and exactly the same as before. So we've got 2 dots representing A. Now they want you to say, how many A's can you possibly make like this? And then what do all those A's represent? Do they represent lines, points? Well, you might be tempted to choose 2 points, but don't choose that just quite yet. Wait and watch what happens. If you were to draw, let's say, A over here, all the way over here, let's say, and then you make another triangle exactly the same way. Now that, if you look at it, if it is completely parallel to BC, then it will have the exact same height. So if you were to take the height would be approximately from there to there, right? And if the line connecting this first A to the second A is parallel to BC, then that will be the same height. It would match up. And therefore, there's obviously more than 1 or 2 points for A. There's quite a few. This holds true for any A that you put on this line. It could be here, it could be here, it could be out here. It doesn't matter. No matter where you put the A, as long as the line is parallel to BC, that height, which is represented by this line right here, is always going to be H. Okay, so I hope you're convinced of that. And BC never changes. B and C are fixed. So these lines, this one right here, and then in a very similar way, you can show it on the other side, a line that basically goes parallel like that. Those 2 lines represent all the possible points A. So, which of the following describes S, which is the set of all points A? It's 2 parallel lines. The first line, of course, being right here, this one, and the second line being right here. So number 10, the answer is A.